Sword of Coming Episode 17. In the previous episode, Chen Ping'an prepared a simple fish soup for Ning Yao, while Liu Xianyang daydreamed loudly about impressing Ji Gui. As Chen Ping'an delivered letters around town, he encountered mysterious strangers and familiar elders, each hinting at hidden tensions beneath the small town's peaceful surface. Quiet warnings surfaced, talk of fate, danger, and an unseen calamity slowly approaching. Even the peach trees, full of leaves but without blossoms, seemed to whisper that something was terribly wrong. At the end of the previous episode, the gentle old man of Peach Leaf Valley revealed that the town's long-protected fortune was running out, and its people might soon face a fate with no return. What will happen next? Stay tuned. And the story continues. Chen Ping'an saw the young girl in green again. This time, she was quietly walking behind a middle-aged man. As she walked, she didn't forget to lower her head to nibble on a scallion pancake. The man, clearly exasperated, stopped when he noticed Chen Ping'an and asked, "Were you the person who I shooed away that time?" Suddenly, something slammed into the man's back. The young girl in green, startled, looked up in a daze after running into what seemed like a wall. When she suddenly saw Chen Ping'an, she began to greet him with a smile. Yet almost immediately, she turned her back to him, hurriedly wiping her mouth with her hands. Chen Ping'an suppressed a smile and nodded politely at the man, saying, "Hi, Master Ruan." From the way they interacted, it was clear that this young girl was most likely Master Ruan's daughter. Interestingly, the father and daughter looked nothing alike, which, under the circumstances, was actually a blessing. The man Chen Ping'an addressed as Master Ruan was the blacksmith who had recently moved to the south. Near the creek, soon after arriving in this small town, Master Ruan's face was filled with impatience as he questioned, "Why hasn't Liu Xianyang come to forge iron for the past 2 days?" Chen Ping'an opened his mouth to explain the situation, but Master Ruan cut him off immediately, speaking bluntly, "Go and tell that brat, if I do not see him today, he will not need to come to my forge again." Chen Ping'an, not being particularly eloquent, was caught off guard and found himself blushing with worry. He feared that saying anything wrong would make the situation even worse, especially since he had experienced Master Ruan's blunt and forceful personality before. The young girl in green seemed ready to speak up and help Chen Ping'an, but her father sharply told her, "You eat your pancake." Upset, the girl suddenly quickened her pace and, in a playful but deliberate motion, stepped on her father's heel before dashing off. Like a gust of wind had lifted her, she vanished into the distance before anyone could react. Master Ruan sighed deeply, turning away and ignoring Chen Ping'an as he continued walking. Chen Ping'an also sighed, then hurried to a breakfast stall to buy 6 buns before making his way back to Clay Vase Alley. When he arrived home, he found Liu Xianyang perched atop the wall, half of his body leaning into Song Jixin's courtyard, clearly eavesdropping with full concentration. Chen Ping'an sometimes felt that Liu Xianyang truly deserved a scolding for moments like this. Yet he had no choice but to approach him and relay Master Ruan's message. "I came across Master Ruan just now," Chen Ping'an said carefully, "and he told you to head over to the blacksmith's forge today. He also said that if you do not go today, he will dismiss you from your position." Liu Xianyang, seemingly absent-minded, muttered, "What is the hurry? Where else would he find a disciple as skilled and hardworking as me? Master Ruan is just making empty threats. I can go tomorrow and it will be fine." Chen Ping'an shook his head and replied firmly, "I am absolutely certain that Master Ruan is not joking." Liu Xianyang grumbled, annoyed, and said he would go in a while because he was engaged in something important. Chen Ping'an handed 2 of the buns to Ning Yao, while Liu Xianyang quickly devoured 3, leaving only 1 for Chen Ping'an himself. As Liu Xianyang finished his breakfast, he whispered, "Song Jixin had a visitor. Someone clearly very important. I believe it is the newly appointed kiln supervision official. When he visited our dragon kiln before, Old Man Yao did not allow trainees like us to meet him. I was an exception and even demonstrated the jumping Burin technique to him." Chen Ping'an smiled faintly and murmured, "Everyone knows the new kiln supervision official is considerate towards Song Jixin. Why are you acting so suspicious? Liu Xianyang was anxious, fretting. A handsome official like that could easily win Ji Gui's favor. If she falls for him, I have no chance, and your future sister-in-law could run away with someone else. What would I do, and what would you do? Chen Ping'an quietly left, leaving Liu Xianyang to brood alone. Meanwhile, Ning Yao sat upright, her hand gripping the hilt of her saber. Beads of sweat on her forehead. She appeared tense yet exhilarated, alert as if facing a powerful enemy. Chen Ping'an returned to the doorway, and she asked, "Do you know who that guest was?" "I heard Liu Xianyang say he is our new kiln supervision official. He seems polite and even stepped aside for me in the alley." Chen Ping'an replied. Ning Yao's cold smile hinted at her understanding. "This type of person is the most terrifying," she said. Chen Ping'an, puzzled, asked her to explain. She spoke in metaphors. Seeing an ant on the street, some people would step on it without reason. Chen Ping'an thought of Ji Kan, who indeed was not gentle toward ants, and nodded. However, Chen Ping'an said, "I think I understand the deeper meaning. One level shows how the residents of this small town appear insignificant to outsiders, like ants. The second level reflects the hierarchy among the outsiders. Fu Nanhua and Kai Jinjin are like children, easily swayed, treating the townsfolk as playthings. But the new kiln supervision official is different. Everything he does is in line with his status, and that is why he seems extremely polite." Ning Yao looked astonished. Chen Ping'an joked about his near-death experience sharpening his mind, though he admitted he saw nothing when facing death. Ning Yao, solemn, considered whether to teach him secret techniques but realized she could not. She pondered borrowing a technique instead, ultimately grumbling about a despicable old eunuch and plotting future revenge. She even thought about asking Master Ruan for help but lamented her own lack of skill. Chen Ping'an watched her muttering, her expression shifting like the iridescent clouds in the sky. Meanwhile, in Song Jixin's room, the handsome man in a white robe and jade belt stood surveying the modest surroundings. Frowning slightly, "That person only organized such a shabby place for you," he remarked. Song Jixin remained silent, his maidservant Ji Gui quietly returning to her own room. The new official, rumored to be connected to the previous kiln supervision official, exuded confidence. Song Jixin had no good impression of him, but he maintained a calm facade in his presence. The man in white, with a faint smile, instructed Song Jixin to follow protocol and kowtow at the covered bridge before accompanying him to the capital. He emphasized that Song Jixin's conduct was his responsibility, and that he would not involve himself in trivial matters. "So be it, that pedantic old scholar has always been careful," the man said, smiling faintly. "He does not seem like a man, but more like a woman. Otherwise, he would not have sent me to look after you." Song Jixin suppressed his anger. The man continued, teasing, "That person spoke highly of your talent. Do you know why you should listen to me?" When Song Jixin hesitated, the man revealed with amusement, "Because I am your uncle, and also the #1 martial artist in the Great Li Empire." He glanced out the window, a trace of disdain on his face as he considered the Confucian scholar overseeing the area. At this moment, it was as if Lu Zhengchun had vaguely heard the silent thoughts of the man in white. He appeared nonchalant as he smiled faintly and said, "A martial artist ruling over a nation. Impressive, how very impressive. However, a white dragon disguising itself as a fish isn't a good omen." The sound of footsteps traveled over from Song Jixin's house. Liu Xianyang was just about to jump down from the wall, yet he heard a voice travel over before he could even see the owner of this voice. "Are you the disciple of the Treasure Creek Dragon Kiln's old man Yao? Is your surname Liu?" the person asked in a gentle voice. Liu Xianyang froze in mid-motion, his body trembling slightly as he looked toward the voice. Stepping out from the doorway of Song Jixin's home was the kiln supervision official. Dressed entirely in white, his robe pristine and his demeanor calm yet commanding. A smile played across his lips as he glanced at Liu Xianyang, as if assessing the young boy from head to toe. Caught off guard, Liu Xianyang stammered, "Why yes, that is me. When you went to the dragon kiln back then, Master told me to demonstrate a few things for you." The official nodded, his gaze steady and knowing. He spoke with an ease that carried authority. "Young boy, do you want to leave this place and see the outside world? Perhaps join the army? Endure 10 years of training. And I promise, you will become a powerful official. I will personally host a banquet in the capital to celebrate your accomplishments. How does that sound to you?" Liu Xianyang's face turned pale, a mixture of awe and fear washing over him. Song Jixin, standing behind the official, clenched his grip on the old dragon Rainbringer jade pendant tightly. He knew the weight of these words. The promise of personal attention from such a figure was a symbol of immense power, influence, and protection in the great Li Empire. Despite this, Liu Xianyang forced a polite, yet shaky response. "T, thank you for your kindness. B, but I have already agreed to become Master Ruan's disciple. I cannot go back on my word. P, please do not take note of this." Song Jixin, sensing the boy's hesitation and fear, reminded him gently, "It is the greater man who does not take note of a lesser man's fault." The man in white smiled, seemingly unconcerned. "No matter. When the opportunity arises to leave this small town, go to Danyang Mountain Pass and look for a martial artist named Lu Zhengchun. Tell him that the capital's Song Chongjing recommended you to join the army. If he doubts you, mention that Song Chongjing said he still owes him 3,000 enemy heads from the Great Sui nation." Liu Xianyang, still dazed, nodded. The man smiled and began to turn away. Song Jixin instinctively wanted to follow him, but the official anticipated this and calmly said, "Follow me to the kiln supervision office. I am going to introduce you to someone." Song Jixin planted his feet, refusing with a dark expression. "I am not going to the ordinary residence." The office of the kiln supervision official was a grand, intimidating place for Song Jixin, who had endured slander and ridicule for years. The thought of entering it felt like facing a tiger's den. Despite his stubbornness, the official merely slowed his pace and spoke calmly. "You have already met Prince Gao from the Great Sui Empire. Are you aware that the Gao clan are mortal enemies of our Song clan? And yet, as a prince yourself, you hesitate to enter an official's office in your own land?" Song Jixin's initial reaction was to glance at Liu Xianyang. The tall boy remained completely indifferent, seated atop the wall, oblivious to the words that carried immense meaning. The official smiled to himself as they passed through Clay Vase Alley, noting Song Jixin's resemblance to the Song clan. Though he was impressed, he also felt a tinge of unease, aware that this young boy was the child of someone remarkable. Song Jixin, meanwhile, tightened his teeth and instructed his maidservant, "I will be gone for a while. No need to leave lunch for me." Before leaving, he paused and said with a smile, "Take the loose silver from my bed and buy yourself the dragon and phoenix ornaments from the Du family's store. No need to save money anymore." Ji Gui nodded obediently. Song Jixin left with a carefree air. Afterward, Liu Xianyang, still perched on the wall, asked Ji Gui quietly about Song Jixin's relationship with the kiln supervision official. She looked at him with a mixture of pity and amusement, causing Liu Xianyang's frustration to flare. He jumped down from the wall, shouting, "Chen Ping'an, let's go to the blacksmith. I refuse to sit here and stew in frustration." A young girl nearby giggled, her words carrying a sharp truth. Deities fight for incense, while humans fight for dignity. Yet good-for-nothings can only fill their stomachs with frustration. Liu Xianyang, enraged, slammed the wall and shouted threats. But the girl merely smiled, unfazed, and continued her work. Chen Ping'an stepped forward and quietly urged, "Let's go." Side by side, he and Liu Xianyang walked along the familiar alley. The boy's voice softened. "Chen Ping'an, am I really pathetic?" Chen Ping'an considered his words carefully, responding, "Whether one is pathetic or not has nothing to do with whether others like them. Your worth is not measured by their opinions." Liu Xianyang pouted, "Then I am even more pitiful. Even if I own a dragon kiln one day, or learn all of Master Ruan's skills, she will still dislike me." Chen Ping'an wisely remained silent. As they approached the end of Clay Vase Alley, Liu Xianyang swore in frustration. Standing before them was Lu Zhengchun, the young master of the Lu clan, a boy who had once nearly killed Liu Xianyang in this very alley. Memories of past humiliation flared in the boy's mind. Lu Zhengchun attempted a forced smile. Liu Xianyang, I need to discuss something. I ran away before giving you a chance to hear me out. Could you please listen now? Liu Xianyang sneered. What, are you now addicted to being a puppet? I find it strange. You, the wealthiest boy in town, now acting as someone's lackey? Despite the anger flaring in Lu Zhengchun, he pleaded, offering money. As long as you agree, they will fulfill your request. 200,000 copper coins. Enough to buy half a residence on Fortune Street. Liu Xianyang's eyes burned with disdain. 200,000? Are you trying to shoo a beggar away? I am not selling the armor. Do you understand? Around the alley's corner, a little girl sat atop an old man's shoulders, and a boy in a red robe whispered to his mother. She explained patiently, teaching him lessons about human nature and cultivating one's mind, emphasizing that understanding and patience were crucial. Lu Zhengchun, realizing the seriousness of Liu Xianyang's resolve, dropped to his knees and kowtowed repeatedly, tears streaming down his face, begging for forgiveness. Liu Xianyang was stunned, watching the eldest grandson of the wealthiest clan submit entirely. Chen Ping'an, observing quietly, whispered advice to Liu Xianyang. If nothing else works, pretend to accept his proposal for now. After you become Master Ruan's disciple, we can deal with it. Liu Xianyang nodded and ordered Lu Zhengchun to rise. The boy obeyed, rubbing his sore forehead. Liu Xianyang put an arm around him, promising, Brother Liu, you will share fortunes and fun with me in the future. Once this is settled, you will be invited for a drink. Lu Zhengchun laughed heartily, agreeing. Chen Ping'an followed closely behind, leaning against the alley wall, eyes alert at the entrance, noting every movement. Meanwhile, the man in white led Song Jixin to the guest hall of the kiln supervision office, accompanied by an old subordinate who explained that Mr. Li from a distant academy was waiting, ready to pay a visit. Song Chongjing inquired about the assassin who had died in the alley, discovering he was a Fortune Street Song clan underling. Song Chongjing's cold laugh echoed through the office as the old subordinate shivered in fear, sweat pouring down his back. Elsewhere in the town, Shi Jingchun gently closed his book and looked up at a young man in a Confucian robe, silently observing. On the streets, a bald man in unusual clothing knelt by the iron lock well, offering prayers to Buddha. Outside the small town, a towering ancient tree bore witness to a figure gazing down at the town, sword strapped to his back, tiger talisman at his waist. In the sky above, a Taoist nun in yellow rode a white deer, accompanied by a handsome Taoist with flowing movements, while two large fish swam gracefully around him. The three teachings and one martial art were converging in the small town, their presence quietly shaping the future. At the blacksmith forge near the creek, sparks flew as the father and daughter continued forging iron. The man instructed the young girl not to go into town for the next few days. Disheartened, she transformed her grief and frustration into sheer determination, swinging her hammer with intensity. Brilliant sparks flew into the air, illuminating the young girl's face and making her appear like a goddess of flames. In this episode, we saw Liu Xianyang facing a life-changing choice when the kiln supervision official offered him a chance to leave the small town and join the army, promising him power and recognition in the great Li Empire. Despite the tempting offer, Liu Xianyang remained loyal to Master Ruan and refused, showing his integrity and determination. Meanwhile, we witnessed the tense encounter with Lu Zhengchun, the young master of the Lu clan, who had once bullied Liu Xianyang. After sincere pleading and heartfelt kowtows, Liu Xianyang stood firm, but also showed compassion, ultimately reaching an understanding with Lu Zhengchun. At the same time, the town began to see the gathering of powerful figures, the Confucians, Buddhists, Taoists, and martial artists, all converging and setting the stage for the challenges ahead. And in the blacksmith forge, the young girl poured all her frustration and determination into forging her sword. Sparks flying, her spirit burning bright like a goddess of flames. What happens next? Stay tuned for the next episode of Sword of Coming. If you enjoyed this episode or found it interesting, Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel to receive notifications for the latest episodes of Chen Ping'an's journey. Thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next video.